Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Audio bandwidth for the Daily Giz Wiz is provided by AOL Music and Spinner.com, where you can get free MP3s, exclusive interviews, and more. Video bandwidth for the Daily Giz Wiz is provided by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com. It's time for the Daily Giz Wiz with Mad's maddest writer, Dick DeBartolo. This is episode 1067 for Tuesday, April 13th, 2010. The Apple iPad.
And now, get ready for Dick.
Hey, it's Dick DeBartolo, Mad's maddest writer, and the Giz Wiz. 1 day a week, thankfully, just 1 day a week, Leo looks under his desk to find some piece of crap. But today, it's good on Turn the Table Tuesday.
Leo looks under his desk to find some crap to share.
Hello, Dick. How are you? I am here with the most amazing device, the device you've all been waiting for.
Yes. Is that something? Is it from Apple?
It is from Apple. It arrived in my office. The UPS fella brought it April 3rd, Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. I have been playing with it ever since. I'm starting to get a little worn out. I haven't slept. I haven't eaten.
It is?
It is the giant iPod Touch everybody's been waiting for, also known as the iPad.
The iPad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, do you have one, Dick? Did you get one?
I did not.
You didn't? I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's sort of like I don't want to be like everybody else, and I also didn't want to spring for $600. So there you go.
So there you go.
And $650 in the city with our 8.75 sales tax.
Well, this is the base.
I thought it didn't come with a cover.
It doesn't. This is the Apple cover. In fact, I've tried a few covers. I'm going to talk about covers a little bit too. I mean, there are a lot of accessories, of course, for this thing. But I thought I'd dress it up in the Apple cover, which I don't really like. It's kind of rubber. But it has one nice feature that I'll talk about in a little bit. But this is the base model, which is a 16 gigabyte. Wi-Fi only.
Why did you buy the base model? You of all people.
$499. Okay. And so I think that's a good price. And the truth is, I'm glad I bought the base model because I haven't filled it up at all by any means. If you put a lot of music or movies,
if it's 3 days.
Well, but if you put a lot of music and movies on it, okay. But really, I think of it as an application device more than a. I have an iPod and I have an iPhone and I have my music on there and stuff. So, let's be honest. I also ordered the 3G version, 64 gigabytes. That's going to come at the end of the month.
There we go. Okay.
So this is the cheapest one I could have, so that I could have the first issue. But the truth is, it's fine. It's plenty. Now this a couple of things. Now I had played with one. In fact, let me take it out of the case so you can see it, because it's really quite pretty. Just the industrial design of it is quite beautiful. I played with one when they announced it in January and was very impressed and said to a lot of people, you can't really judge the iPad until you hold it in your hands. There's something about how it feels. Yes, it is a big iPod Touch. And really, you know what? That's all it is. It's a 1024 by 768 screen iPod Touch. As if it were on steroids. It even looks like that, like just a giant iPod Touch. But
beautiful. They're beautiful.
It's beautiful. There's something about it. The aluminum. It's the unibody aluminum case. It's the glass. It's the size of it, which is it's really quite big. But also it's the speed of it. And this was something that I had known from playing with it when it came out in January. Is it's kind of hard to understand what it's like to use it until you actually play with one and you see how fast it is. I mean, it's just remarkably fast. So much faster than the existing iPods or iPod Touches. They have a gigahertz processor, a special Apple processor called the A4 in here. And it's really optimized for this experience. You can see as I rotate it, it rotates, by the way, along all 4 axes. So there's no proper way of doing it. You could do it portrait mode, which is then, 1024 by 768, or turn it sideways for wide mode. And when you're surfing, portrait mode's nice. It does, of course, just like the iPod Touch, have a full browser in it, the Safari browser. And it's a very usable browser. Especially, again, at this size. I mean, it's hard to understand how great it is at this size. You can actually you don't have to go to mobile websites. This is the Friend Feed website. And just the regular website as you would see it on your screen.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It scrolls. It's in real time. You still have the pinch and zoom that Apple made famous, the multi-touch gestures. I find it really terrifically useful as a browser.
There are built-in speakers?
It has a very good built-in speaker, and that's, so let's talk about the different categories that this is getting used for. A lot of attention played to it as a book reader, and it certainly is that. In fact, I think it competes pretty well with the Kindle. Not merely because Apple has its own bookstore, the iBookstore. In fact, the Apple iBookstore is kind of scant right now. They say 60,000 titles, but 30,000 of them are public domain titles like the works of Shakespeare. Only 30,000 new titles. A lot of the books that you might want are not in here.
Okay.
It does come with, though, Winnie the Pooh. You can see I've bought some other books, and there's this beautiful bookshelf. It does come with Winnie the Pooh, which really gives you a sense of how this is going to differ from the Kindle. For one thing, you can read it sideways or upright.
Oh, yeah.
Pictures are in color. Page turns are much more responsive. There's none of that Kindle flickering. It's white text on a black background. But just like the Kindle...
Does Kindle even do photos?
It does, but they'll be grayscale. They're very hard to see.
Grayscale, okay.
Just like the Kindle, you can set the font size bigger or smaller, and it has more. It actually has more choices. It also allows you to choose fonts. There's Baskerville, Cochin, Palatino, Times New Roman, and Verdana. You can search through a book. It also, like the Kindle, if you see a word you don't know, you can double-click it and select dictionary, and it'll pull up a dictionary entry of that word, which is really, I think, very handy for people who are reading. You can also double-click a word and bookmark it, or search for that word occurring elsewhere in the book. So it's a very, I think, attractive reader. One of the things you're going to use a lot when you read is this brightness setting. In a dark room, unlike the Kindle where you have to shine light on it, you can read this in a dark room, but you're going to want to set the brightness very low. Otherwise, your eyes start to go, this is glowing. But in a bright environment, you want to turn it up. So you can set the brightness, and that actually is very handy, something the Kindle cannot do. The Kindle requires light shined on it, and, it's a reflective surface.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing. So that's the Apple iBook application. There's also an Amazon Kindle application, and any Amazon book that you've ever purchased is available on here.
That's great.
The periodicals aren't, but the books are, and frankly, the experience is very similar. It's just as good. So you have access to the entire Kindle Amazon bookstore as well. Same kinds of features, too. You can change the font size. You can change the brightness. You can have it white background with black text, black background with white text, or what I prefer, which is a kind of a sepia tone. That actually seems to be the most legible long term. This is also the case that if something's in color, the color will show up. And in this case of this book, which is a programming book, it's hyperlinked as well. So you can click the hyperlinks and go to footnotes or go to the page that it's referring to, which is frankly very handy. I just clicked on a word and it went to the glossary in the back of the book. I find that really handy. This is just
how much is a Kindle?
Now Kindle is $250, I think, is the latest price. They keep dropping the price.
So you're getting like a free Kindle.
But yeah, I think you get the Kindle Plus because that's just the book reading, and I find it very good. There are a number of newspapers and magazines that are making editions available on the iPad, and this is the New York Times, they're very legible and readable. The New York Times application is free. You can double-click on a story to get the story in full. You do have some of the same features that you'd have on the website. You can email an article out. I think you might still want to use the website to read the New York Times, but this gives you a direct application. Wall Street Journal's on here if you have a paid subscription. USA Today is free, and they do a nice job. BBC and NPR are also on here. In fact, NPR just really did a spectacular application that allows you to create your own NPR station, in effect. It gives you all of the NPR audio, and you can listen to it directly. Whoops, crashed down on me. You can listen to it directly, or you can add it to a playlist and then listen to the playlist. So before you go out in the morning, if you want, you can go through all the NPR stories and say, I'm going to listen to that one, add it to my playlist. That one, I'm going to add it to my playlist. And then get in the car and be listening to your playlist. You asked, does it have a speaker? Yeah, it has a very good speaker. Surprisingly good. But, of course, it also has a headphone jack. So you can read books. You can read newspapers and magazines. You can also watch, it is an iPod, so you can listen to your iPod music on here. And you can go to the iTunes store and you can buy movies and TV shows as well. So there's a video application, which is separate from the iPod application, that lets you watch those. And the video is quite good. I mean, I have to say it's not high def, it's because it's 1024 by 768. Yeah. Even if it's high def video, the screen is going to have bars top and bottom.
Boy, stuff it changes screens.
You see how quick it is, and that's really one of the things that until you actually use it to realize how fast this thing is. It's very responsive. This is a very nice processor that they put in here. So TV shows and movies. Here's a nice application from Netflix. They allow you to watch Netflix streaming movies on here directly too. Now, this is Wi-Fi, so you probably do need Wi-Fi to watch the Netflix movie, although in theory on a 3G network, and we'll find out at the end of the month, they don't block it, I don't think. So you could, in theory, watch Netflix movies on here too. So Netflix, if you have a membership, that has about 30,000 movies that you can watch right away just by pressing the play button. So I have access to my Netflix account, my Netflix queue, and I can even watch movies. So it's authorizing it right now, this to make sure that I have an account with Netflix, preparing for playback. And in a
do you
second
have Twit on there?
Oh, you want to see Twit? I'll show you Twit.
You have Twit? Oh, you do? Oh,
I do have Twit on here. Oh, yeah. So we're just going to get this Netflix movie playing. I mean, I like the idea of this being a Netflix player. Really makes okay. So now we've got a book reader, a periodical reader. We can watch TV, movies, and yes, if you want to watch Twit, we have an application for 99 cents called TwitPad that lets you watch our live streaming. Mediafly also has a Twit application that lets you listen to any of our podcasts. This is the calendar here. Houdini 7 did a great job with this application. You can see we're on right there.
Oh, that is great.
Here's the chat room too, so you can actually chat while you're watching the show. Which I mean, this is really great. You've got Twit in your hands.
It's nice.
It's nice. All right. Now, let's add a few more Let me just show you Popular Science. Popular Science is one of many periodicals that plan to do special applications just for their subscribers. So you'll actually be able to subscribe to an online version of the application. And they've just done such a nice job. It's so vivid. You really feel like you're in the application, in the magazine, and just kind of living it. I think they've done a really, really nice job here. That's Popular Science. It also has as an added feature word processor. Apple's doing a Pages word processor for it, spreadsheet and presentation program. There are third-party programs like this is Autodesk Sketchbook Pro. It's a drawing program, and because it's a touch screen, it's actually a very credible drawing program that you can zoom in on. You can change the brush properties. If I triple tap, and hold this, I can see the brushes. And I can choose from a variety of different brushes and strokes. My mom's going to really love this because it's basically a sketch pad in your hand, Watch this. Speaking of in your hand, I'm going to draw a bunch of hands. So those are third-party applications. The applications are more expensive than iPhone applications in most cases, but less expensive than real-world ones. For instance, the iWork applications that Apple sells, $10 for the word processor, $10 for the spreadsheet, $10 for the presentation manager. Sketchbook Pro, I think, was $15. Let me show you a silly one. This was a 99-cent weather application. Applications are really using the screen in very innovative ways. So this is a weather forecast. It's partly cloudy in Petaluma, so it's showing a video of partial clouds. Tomorrow's going to be sunny, so here's a video of the sun. And if I go
is that someone driving off in your Mustang?
Wait a minute. Stop, thief. I can also see what it's like in Paris right now where it's night, and so the moon comes out. And let me see if I can find rain. No, there it is, scattered showers.
So, Leah, what's the battery life? Have you had enough time to...
This is going to blow you away. Apple said 10 hours, and it's at least 10 hours. I charge it in the morning and run it like crazy. Andy and Akko and Alex have taken it on flights, and it's still going. I've been using it all day. It's 58% right now. Remarkable battery life. It also runs all the existing iPhone applications. So here's the Amazon application. Now, that's the size of the iPhone screen, which is 1/4 the size of the iPad screen. But they have a button that doubles it in each dimension, and then you can see it. But this is not as good as an iPad native application because it's really designed for these this smaller screen. So it's a little grainy. Yeah. It's just not as good. So in most cases, you're going to want to go with a native iPad version of the application.
Right, yeah.
The Maps application is incredible. This is Google Maps. Now, even though only the 3G versions will have GPS, there is locationing using the Wi-Fi. So it knows that I'm right here at the Twit Cottage. There is the Twit Cottage. I can get the classic maps on here too. And what's really great is you even have Street View, and the Street View on this is pretty incredible. I can actually see, you might recognize this. There's the Twit Cottage.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know whose car that is. And we could go down the street. We can actually take a walk around Petaluma. And this shows you, we've seen this on the iPhone and on a computer, but this device, there's something magic about having it on a device this size. It really makes it usable.
Yeah.
There's something pretty special about it. All right, I saved the best for last. There's some great comic book applications. Marvel has a comic book. I would love to see a Mad magazine on here, by the way. Look, it browses through the comic book as you tap it.
Wow.
But I saved the best for last, and that's the games. The games are amazing, Dick. This is one called Mirror's Edge. It's from Electronic Arts. And it uses the accelerometer, like the driving games, you steer with the iPad.
Yes.
You use the touch screen. Because there's a lot of processor power in here, you can actually have pretty good games. And because the user interface is so intuitive and unique, you actually can make these games really fun to play. I've downloaded about half a dozen games, and I just can't stop playing them. The graphics are great. The games are fun. This is a great device for amusement. This is called Mirror's Edge. Whoop, I got to jump from building to building. I'm running around. I can do, there we go. Oh boy, almost fell there. Doesn't that look great?
Yeah, it does.
So watch, I'll jump off the cliff here. And as I said, the sound quality is actually surprisingly good. Yeah. So I'm playing a lot of games on here, I have to say, including Plants vs. Zombies, which is one of my...
I saw one of your tweets. You spent $90.
I've spent probably almost as much on applications for this thing as I did to buy the thing. I mean, this is where Apple's really going to get you. I bought books, I bought TV shows, I bought applications. People have said, "Hey, there's no camera, there's no multitasking, there's no flash. I can get for half as much. I can get a full-blown computer, a netbook," and that's absolutely true. I think, to me, what I've realized is the iPad isn't really designed to replace the computer. It's more like it's designed to replace your TV set. It's really about content consumption. It's an amusement device.
It's like a TV set you walk around with.
It's like a fancy TV set that does a lot more. So if you think of it that way, I think it's a little bit, you can understand a little bit more why this, I think, is a compelling product. Apple sold 300,000 in their first day. They'll probably sell millions in the first year, and I suspect it's going to be as popular a product as the iPhone was. I really think it's going to be great. You can see I do get fingerprints on it, which is not so good.
Yeah.
Here's an example. Zagat, which does an iPhone application, automatically, for free, and I commend them for doing this, pushed out a special version for the iPad, and it has a map on it. It shows where the pins are. You can read the restaurant reviews, right in the application. You can even make reservations in the application. They've really... Some of these guys are saying, hey, I'm going to use this real estate in a nice, creative way and do something that's really exceptional. When they do that, it's just fantastic. Zillow released an iPad version, and it was, if you already had it, it was just an automatic upgrade. So you could see what houses in your neighborhood are worth, which is always kind of fun. I just have to say, this has become my bestest little buddy, Dick. after you.
I see. Oh, I thought I was your bestest little
No,
buddy.
you're my
Oh,
bestest
I've been
little buddy.
replaced by an iPad.
By the way, this wallpaper, for those of you who are watching at home, I want to thank Trey of StuckInCustoms.com. He's got a pack of iPad wallpaper that's just gorgeous. His high definition or high dynamic range photos, and this tree is from that. It's just really great. But you can use any photo at all in your photo library, of course, as wallpaper if you want to have your family there. Here's Plants vs. Zombies.
Right.
So what do you think? Now what do you think?
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's really nice.
There are some very interesting professional tools like GoToMeeting is on here. Also a remote access.
Leo, outside of Wi-Fi, so on an airplane, we can play games.
Yeah, well, you really do want to be connected. This really is an internet tablet.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you can play games, and if you've stored stuff, you can read it, but it is an internet tablet, I have to say. I mean, I think that's the real strength of it, is that, when you have the internet connection, that's why I think ultimately I'm going to want, and I think most people will want 3G or some sort of always-on connectivity, because it just begs to get you online and interact with the world, whether it's streaming video or news or whatever. But you can load it up with movies and books and TV shows and music and take it on an airplane and be very happy. I just think that part of the fun of this is browsing. I didn't mention you can also get your send and receive email. In fact, I didn't even really show you that there is the capability of typing, and it's actually pretty good. Let me respond to this email from Dane here. So this is the email application. When I press apply, a keyboard comes up. You can use a Bluetooth keyboard, but this keyboard is perfectly usable.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
You can use it to touch type. I'm touch typing right now. It also works sideways, so you can have a little keyboard. And if you have a Bluetooth keyboard, you can just use the Bluetooth keyboard to type. I find this very usable, even with my thumbs. So, you might not want to write a novel on it, but you certainly can use it to write more than just a few lines. It's great. Some great Twitter applications. This is Twitter Later Pro from Andrew Stone software. He always does such beautiful software. And so there's the Twitter timeline. Here's messages, or I can see direct messages, searches, lists. You can see how responsive it is, isn't it?
It's nice.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, there you go. Now, I did buy, and I think it was a mistake, the Apple case, and I don't recommend it. There are a lot of great companies, Hard Shell's making some really nice one. This one is from Griffin. It makes it, what I like about this is it doesn't look like you've got an iPad with you. You slide it in here, and it looks like you're just carrying around a leather portfolio, like a businessman. Right?
That's nice.
So nobody's gonna say, "Oh, let me steal that from you." It just looks like you got a notebook in your hand. And I kind of prefer that. There are a lot of other accessories, including a dock, which you might want if you want to use it in picture frame mode. It does slideshows. It's just gorgeous. It also has a docking keyboard. I wouldn't recommend that. I would just say get the dock and then get the Bluetooth wireless keyboard. Apple's works fine, but any Bluetooth wireless keyboard will work. It comes with a little dongle that allows you to connect it to a VGA output, so you could do keynote presentations from it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can actually do your speeches from it. That's about $30. All the accessories are about $30. So there it is. That's the iPad. My review, Dickie D. I know that was a long one, but
yeah, I know, but I enjoyed seeing it.
Yeah. Does it make you want one?
Yes, it does, but I still have to justify. I'm not sure. Mainly I would look at. Say again?
You go to, who is it, Condé Nast? Who owns you guys now? Time Warner.
Oh, Time Warner.
You go to Time Warner and say, look, I believe we should do a special Mad Magazine app for the iPad, and I'd like to do the research on it. All you got to do is get me an iPad, and I will figure it out.
Well, that's good. I was going to try that on Frederic, saying that I have to.
A special Giz Wiz edition wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
well, I think you're going to see. It's going to be interesting to see which content companies decide to go to the bookstore, which content companies decide to use the browser, and which decide to make their own apps. And I think a lot of these guys, I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I think a lot of them are going to make their own apps.
Or they could be like you and just be on everything.
That's what I do. We got our own app.
your lovely letters. Here come your letters, your lovely Giz Wiz letters. Your Giz Wiz letters now.
Oh, yes. Here come those letters, those lovely letters. So yesterday, we were talking about colleges, right?
Yes.
And I got a lovely email from Jeffrey Sessler. He says, Dear Leo, you mentioned a couple of times that Abby might be coming to Scripps, part of the Claremont college system, the 5 colleges down in Claremont, California. It's the one I want her to go to. He says, since I am the IT director at Scripps and a fan of yours from the Tech TV days, I thought I'd share a little inside information on our computing capabilities here. If Abby
We can change all of Abby's marks to A's
When do
and
you hear
waive
this?
tuition.
Dick, you're going to want to go back to college. When do you hear this? The internet connection. We've got two 10 gigabit links to our gigabit. 10 gigabit. Now I got to tell you, there's only something like 900 students in this college. So it's like maybe 2,000 people with the staff and the teachers sharing 2 10 gigabit links, a 300 megabit backup via a secondary provider in case the first one goes down. Our core network is a mix of 10 gigabit and 1 gigabit Ethernet. Connectivity to the residence halls on campus, they have something they call gigabit to the pillow. Since 2003, each resident in a room receives a dedicated gigabit connection to the internet. This is what we were trying to get from Google. No rate limiting, no shaping. A gigabit in every room. Of course, there's 802.11n wireless, dual radio, 2.4 ends, 5 gigahertz, 40 megahertz wide and 5 gigahertz, dense deployment, campus-wide. They have 250 access points and growing. Residence halls average about 6 to 10 users per access point, so it's very fast. Every building is covered, all the outdoor areas. Let's see. OS support, Windows, Mac, Linux, etc. Student base is about 75% Mac, about 25% Windows, and 1% others. And he says, if Abby needs work, my department hires students.
I see. Okay. So, yeah, you better show her that. This may push her over the edge.
Yeah, believe me, I said this right along to her. Gigabit.
Wow.
See, this is what I want. Gigabit to the pillow.
Yeah.
Do you think most colleges are this way? I think they probably are. You probably cannot attract students if you don't offer great internet access.
I was in Barnes & Noble looking around one day, and there's a textbook with connectivity by colleges.
Oh, of course.
And how much. Yeah, because that's what
they're shopping
students
around.
want.
They're shopping around. Yeah. I know that, Abby is trying to figure out, she has 4 different schools she could go to. She's trying to figure out which one. And last night, she's in, I don't know if it's chat rooms or Facebook pages, I don't know, but she's talking with new students for her next year for all 4 colleges, deciding which ones she likes the best. I mean, they're already talking to each other. We live in a different world.
Yeah, that is amazing.
It's truly amazing.
Well, maybe she doesn't have to go to school. She could just do it from her bedroom.
Stay home. I'll give her gigabit to the pillow. She doesn't have to leave.
If the school was so wired, why do you have to go there?
Hey, Jeff, thank you so much for the email. Boy, that's pretty amazing. I'm very impressed by the IT plan. I have to go down there and visit. And maybe you wouldn't mind if I went back to college, would you?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Of course, it is a girls' school.
You could, in exchange for Abby's tuition,
yeah,
you could do some podcast classes.
Some? Do you know what tuition is? I don't think there are enough hours in the day.
Like 40,000?
I don't even know. I don't even want to know. It's a lot. Yeah, I think the average college tuition now is something like 15 to 20,000, and private schools are like 30,000. It's incredible. It's gotten very expensive. But you know what? I think you need an education nowadays, don't you?
Well, looking at how far I've gotten, I would say yes, since I don't have an education. I am the living example.
I'm a dropout. The days where people like you and I can make it in this world without a college education and a college degree, I think they've changed quite a bit. So you didn't go to? Did you not go to college at all? Did you just skip the whole thing?
I started Columbia University studying TV production.
Good school.
Okay, night school. And
Yeah.
during the day, I was working at Mark Goodson Productions.
Wow.
And it's like, it was like stupid because the professor said, in about 3 weeks, we are all going to an actual studio at NBC.
Ooh.
And I thought, I go to an actual studio 3 days a week.
Oh, that's
and I'm
hysterical.
sick of it. And I thought, you know what, this is ridiculous.
Oh, that's
I'm just going to,
hysterical.
So I dropped out. And here I am today. Just shows you how far you can go.
Dick, I have used more than my allotment. I'm gonna run now, but you'll be back tomorrow
Okay.
with a nice short gadget.
I'll be here.
DAIL. Why? It's the day